Hey there guys, Tristan Bond, CEO and founder of Practice Acceleration. Welcome to another episode of the Practice Acceleration podcast. I'm super excited because today I'm joined by two very close friends and amazing clients. I'm joined by Katie and Jens. You guys are going to learn so much about this fabulous couple. They are not just an amazing couple in life, but also they are a business partnership as well. They're dominating in all factors of life, all whilst raising beautiful children as well. We had the pleasure of hanging out last week. So guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tristan.
I'm super excited to have you guys here. I know that there was a bit of an emergency at the clinic before. You guys have handled that, and now you're here and we're off to the races, about to kick it off. How good was Noosa last week? What did you guys love about that?
I think I can speak on behalf of us both when I say that, the reinforcing of the message around time taken away from the clinic, away from the business, away from the team, away from the daily ops to really, just get into the big picture thinking space. And, we walked away with a lot of goals, I think, for the next 6 months and beyond. So really valuable in that sense.
It was awesome. And what about you, Jens? What did you love about it? Apart from the sunshine, I saw you guys getting out with the girls on the beach, having some fun.
Yeah. Well, like Kate said, getting away, having a chance to reflect and having a look at your existence within the business was really valuable. But for me, it was the proximity to yourself, to Sarah, to the PA team, to other practitioners, other entrepreneurs and business owners who are on the same journey.
Proximity is power.
Absolutely. It can be a little bit lonely when you're trying to run a practice, trying to run a business, trying to grow a business, because you feel like you're surrounded by competitors usually. But competitors don't really want to share with you. They don't want to give you the answers. They don't want to share the road with you. Whereas being up in Noosa, being in Practice Acceleration, you're essentially surrounded by people who are there on the same journey, but then also there to support you, which is it's actually absolutely fantastic. The amount of ideas and critical thinking that I haven't considered, that I sort of was opened to or introduced to just by having conversations with people up in Noosa was incredible.
Well, it was so awesome just hanging out and socializing with you guys as well. And for you guys listening, Jens and Katie are part of our boardroom group within Practice Acceleration, which is for people that are either just like they're very close to their first million per year, or they're at $1 million and they're looking to add their next $1 million, but at the same time wanting to do that whilst maintaining sanity and enjoyment within their lives. So I want to take a step back. So if you can just tell everyone who you are and what you do. So you run this business, it's called Brighton Foot Clinic. Just tell me a little bit about your practice, where you are.
So business was started in 2016. It was a venture of ours, basically taking a bit of a punt on myself to say, well, I'm going to stop working for other people, stop creating wealth for other people, and then start investing in us and our family and the people who depend upon us. So we took that step, and I was a practitioner. Kate was in was it sales at the time?
Yeah.
Yep. HR, sales. So we weren't business owners. We weren't, entrepreneurs at heart. We were practitioners. From there, we've sort of tried to teach ourselves, and we were growing, and we were confident in what we were doing, but we didn't really have any clear sort of direction at the time. And we went from strength to strength, but slowly.
When did you start feeling, I'm sorry to cut you guys off, but so you started this venture from the ground up. Is that right? In 2016. When did you start to feel friction? Like, it's because it's often I find that like the new business, it's like really exciting at the beginning, and it's like there's no pressure because it's new. It's like, and you come in with low expectations initially, at least. How long did it take for you to get through that period of where it was like, this is not actually feeling as much fun as I thought it might?
So It was probably, well, it was when I came to the realization, it was a few years in, and I came to the realization that at the time I wasn't really building a business as I was building a job that I own.
Right.
I was almost a slave to my own business,
Yeah.
which
Created the handcuffs for yourself.
absolutely. Where I mean, yeah, the income was great, but I had to grind for that income.
And meanwhile, I was working full time elsewhere.
And so, Kate, you were working full time elsewhere, but also like emotionally and mentally involved with this business.
Yeah, and also operationally, I was taking care of all the back of house, the admin,
Yeah. So you're working essentially two jobs.
Yeah, and with two kids and this guy. So it was a busy life. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. Like, I think when we think of business in those terms, and you're moving along and you're grinding, like you grow, you can grow in a linear fashion, but and you can earn good money, sure, and you have a nice business, but you don't have the lifestyle. Like you can earn great money, but it's at the cost of what? So, what was it costing you guys? And when I say costing you, I don't mean in money. I mean like, what was the impact this is having on your lifestyle?
I think health was a big thing for me. I was doing huge hours. I was doing, I'd be there early in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning till, I don't know, 7, 8 at night, trying to do everything. And then, I wasn't able to exercise. I wasn't able to eat properly. I was emotionally and mentally fatigued. So that was probably the real cost for me, just my personal enjoyment of life.
Yeah, that's a big cost. Kate, how about you?
It's interesting because I think I was doing so many things that I didn't really feel I was doing any of those things particularly well, if I'm honest. I was unhappy in my employment, just from a job satisfaction point of view. And I was, just juggling. I had too many balls in the air. And, we all still feel like that even now. But it's different. It's a lot more rewarding now because all of those balls that I'm juggling are my own. So it's a lot better now. But yeah, it was probably more an emotional toll for me, I think.
I think it created a lot of stress because you were juggling so many balls, and then you felt like, yeah. So it was creating stress.
Let's talk about some results, and so that and the people that are listening right now can understand, like they've got a good idea of like where you are emotionally, time wise, physically, health wise. And I'm sure everyone that's listening is like nodding their head along in the car, relating. And I really appreciate you guys saying that inside business, it's almost like a lot of people don't want to share. They want to keep their secrets to themselves, and it can feel very lonely as a consequence. And I want everyone listening to not feel alone, because you don't need to do this alone, and the way you're feeling is also shared by other people, but you do actually have a responsibility to find a solution. So you guys reached out to me and we started working on a solution. So if we think about like before and after in a number of ways, okay, I want to talk about like for me, and everyone's different, but like my mantra is business is about three things. It's about to give us financial freedom, so that we can experience life the way we want. We can have health, we can have lifestyle, we can look after our loved ones, but we can also contribute. So that's why like finance is important to me. Secondly, it's about having the opportunity to choose when you work. So you've got some time freedom. So then you've got time for yourself to be your best version of yourself, and time for your loved ones to be the best version for them. And then finally, it's about headspace freedom. And headspace freedom is about feeling happy within life. So I'd love to know, like, how are things different for you guys in those areas? So we start with the top one, because I know that people listening will be able to relate more to like revenue and so on. What was approximate like revenue before and now? Like, what sort of shift has happened there?
We actually did run some numbers on this, and so the year to date, we're up 59%.
Wow. That's amazing.
There have been a lot of changes though, Tristan. We have...
Oh yeah, you guys have done all the work to make that a reality.
A lot of work. And I'm here now full time too. So actually tomorrow is my 12-month anniversary for leaving my corporate career.
Happy anniversary.
we have to celebrate because it's.
Oh, you guys must celebrate that. That's a serious milestone, and that's an interesting thing too. I was going to like go off on a tangent in business. Like, isn't it funny? Like we don't get acknowledged for these things in a corporate world. It's like happy 12-month anniversary, or even if 2 years in business. It's like it comes and passes with no acknowledgement, and I just think it's so important that you guys acknowledge that because that's important. It's like it's a birthday. We celebrate that so you can enjoy the opportunity, you know. So 59% up in revenue. What does that mean approximately in dollars? If we break it down, what was revenue per month beforehand, and then we can do the math on that.
Well, year on year. So we're looking year before we joined PA, and we joined just almost right on our new financial year. So we've gone from 582K annually.
Yeah, wow.
Being just short of $1 million.
580K up to just shy of $1 million. Congratulations, guys. And I'm going to let you know that we're going to do a big celebration when you hit that $1 million mark, because that is so important. Like, it's a huge, huge achievement, and it's so important, I believe, to celebrate along the way.
We're on the trajectory for that for the next financial year. We've a lot of changes happened in the clinic this year, and with just the people we've got on board right now, we're on track for that, but we're about to hire a new guy.
Amazing. Well, based on your current monthly run rate, we should be able to hit that within 6 to 7 weeks, you know, of that level of run rate. So, and I love looking at the run rate of like, all right, cool. If you're doing 83K per month now, you're on trajectory to do that, which I think is really, really powerful. And that's worth acknowledging as well, because that way you acknowledge it before you've actually achieved the annual goal, but it gets you more inspired to hit it. So, wow, that's absolutely super amazing. And I do want to say to our listeners, we're not making any crazy promises in here. Kate pointed out they've done a lot of work to hit that. Like, achieving goals in business, it's not like, I wish we could click our fingers and make it happen. It's not that easy. Business is simple, but it's not easy. It's simple because there's a pathway to follow. It's not easy because you have to do the work, right? So that's wild. Congratulations. And in terms of other lifestyle shifts, like, what is different now in terms of lifestyle? Because we've had to make some big changes to do this. Let's talk about your hours, your headspace.
I asked Kate just before we got on with you, Tristan, how many weeks of holidays have we had?
Why is Kate laughing? Because I feel like there's something coming on here.
No, she's excited by
I'm
it.
really happy.
It's actually wonderful. So the short answer is, up until now, August, we've had 7 weeks of annual leave. We've been away for 7 weeks, and we've been able to...
And just to the first half of the year, really.
So we've been able to grow and scale while living life.
Oh, my goodness.
So we are probably enjoying our life more than ever. We're working hard, we're working smart. Yeah. But we've had 7 weeks of annual leave. We've travelled. We've been overseas. The kids are, we're with the kids. I've always had a mantra, Tristan, that I don't live to work, I work to live.
I have the same mantra.
I'm passionate about my practice. I'm passionate about what I do, but I'm more passionate about my family and my life that I get to live once.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Kate, tell me, what's the difference for you? Like, we're talking like the holidays, obviously important. What else?
Holidays are great. Honestly, I remind my kids, and my kids remind me all the time, how awesome it is that when I pick them up from school at 3:30, I'm not on a meeting, I'm not in a call with someone about a problem. Having come from HR, I was on the phone all day long with people about all their issues. And I pick them up and I take them to the park, or we go home and do their homework, or we get dinner. Like, we're just doing the family thing instead of juggling all the stuff. When it's their time, it's their time. I can be here, essentially school hours and plow like I'm pumping for those 7 hours-ish. But outside of that, I'm there for the kids. And that's ultimately why we decided that we needed for me to be here, as opposed to hiring someone to do what I do and me be working elsewhere. Because the benefits are obviously here for our team, but even more so for our kids.
I think for me, in that respect, my biggest aim, and something that I want to achieve, and I'm going to see this as a huge achievement, is that I'd love for us to be in a position where Kate doesn't have to work. I'd love for her to concentrate and be there for our children as much as possible and be there.
Is that a shared goal?
It's a shared goal, but I have just recently discovered my genius zone. When we started with Boardroom, we did that exercise in trying to figure out what our genius zones are. And Jens really quickly figured out his thing, but I sat on that for a couple of weeks, months.
What have you arrived at?
I've arrived at, I am big picture strategy, long-term business growth outside of just like podiatry, like within podiatry still, but I've got lots of ideas and I can sit around a table and spit fire and we can come up with all kinds of things. I'm not the person who executes all those ideas. That's not what I'm good at, but I'm good at generating ideas and then building them. So I see, when Jens says, Kate, maybe not working into the future, that's more in terms of clinic operations. I still see myself having a role in that bigger picture business development space because there's so much opportunity.
Yeah, and I agree with you very much there. Like it's the impact that you have as a visionary, and Jens, you're very lucky to have Kate. Yeah, like to move from a corporate career in here and to bring in her genius space. Because it just brings in such a, like, this is how you grow. And so, this is a conversation for another coaching session, but I'd encourage you not to move out of the business, but rather bring on a integrator to help you to integrate. So that way you'll have even more presence with your children. But the way I look at business is like, I think work-life balance is a really interesting term. We all have interests where we like to spend more time, and I think it's just important to go, what is meaningful to us and how do we give that the dedicated time that it needs, rather than feeling like we're splitting ourselves across the board. So I feel like if you were to just stop being involved, you would actually not feel totally fulfilled. So it's like, how do you actually get those needs met, and then who do you bring on? And we do the same thing like Sarah, my business partner. It's she uses a nanny a lot, and it's like that way the kids are looked after, they're all under school age, so then she gets her needs met. Whereas if she was full-time at home, it'd be like, it's great for the children, but not great for her mental health because she's not actually able to focus on what really lights her up. So it's a bit of a fine, I was going to say it's a fine balance. It's not. It's actually it's a very critical decision with where your time goes and being decisive about it and being passionate about. I'm passionate about work. I'm passionate about my kids. I'm passionate about my family, and we be passionate and obsessed with all those things, whilst also supporting those things together.
I think what it really looks like for me is hiring a practice manager to take care of the day-to-day.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean necessarily I'm just going to be at home. My kids are at school. I don't need to be available all day long. I still see myself playing a really big role in this business going forward, but I just don't need to be dealing in the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, I love that. That's what we'll do. But also, we're gonna start off with an EA in between to give you an executive assistant, because that will actually free up your time and your headspace a lot. It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. Much like Tin, who's assisting in here to make sure that I don't press the wrong buttons on this podcast. It's like there's so many things you can do when you have EAs, especially in the form of virtual assistants available to help you out. Be an absolute game changer. So I've got a couple of questions around like just business and myth busting within healthcare. Like inside healthcare, what do you think that people get wrong, and what should they do instead? And I know that's a broad question.
I think, especially at when healthcare practitioners attempt, or when they start to grow a practice, a business, and be entrepreneurial, they need to know that they don't need to do it all themselves. Don't try and do it all, because you're not going to be great at everything. Focus on what you do really well. Identify what you do really well. Focus on that, and that's going to move the needle more so than doing an average job at something else, whether it be marketing, whether it's business development, whether it's coaching, whether it's the clinical aspect. Something that we've learned is surrounding yourself with people who are fantastic at those functions. It goes a long way and gives you bandwidth and brain sort of bandwidth to think about the things that you're good at. And then also systemizing and automating processes and functions within your business to free up your time. So rather than grinding, trying to come up with marketing campaigns constantly, or reaching out to patients or GP practices, have that automated in the background, have that running on its own, so you're not having to spend time doing that rather than what you're truly passionate or fantastic at. I think that's probably the biggest thing that a lot of people get wrong.
There's a lot to learn, so I'm just going to recap, like doing it all themselves and trying to figure it out as they go along, right? So let's tap into that just for one moment. You mentioned marketing there. I'm really glad that you did. I was going to ask you about that. So you guys have run a tremendously successful text campaign with us. Prior to doing that, had you run any campaigns of that nature?
Not at all, no.
Zero.
Walk me through that, because I know that when people think about, say, running like a text campaign or an email campaign or so on, there's like this, well, hang on, I don't want to reactivate people. I just want to get new. But the reality is, going out to get new people, they don't know you, like you, or trust you yet, and they're tremendously expensive. Whereas a database is sitting there, they already know you, like you, trust you. They're 6 times more likely to say yes to you. But it's all about, what do we actually say in that message? We don't want to be pushy. We don't want to be salesy. We need a nice chat flow to book them in. Tell me about the first campaign. How did that work out for you guys?
That was a really long time ago, so I don't know if I remember the particulars. I do know that we'd sent out circa 320-ish text messages to reactivate. Yeah, do you have, if you've got them?
I don't have the, let's have a look at, that's that one. I actually have it here on my screen. Finished booking appointments for all reactivated patients thanks to a largely successful text campaign. 3 podiatrists are now fully booked until October. So you're booked out months ahead.
Which we weren't prior to that.
Yeah. So you got booked out for 3 team members pretty quick. Pretty wild. Yeah. How did you find it? Like, it's pretty different doing it. Were you surprised by the results that you got?
I don't know that we were necessarily surprised, because we had been hearing success stories from all the people in the circle, right? So I think I was excited, and I probably had a reasonable expectation of what was going to come. I think the thing that was most kind of surprising was the rapid response rate. I sent out a text to, the list, and within seconds it was like, all these responses coming in, and I was instantly overwhelmed with, how quickly can I get back to all these people?
Yeah, good problem to have.
It was great to kind of teach us that it is possible. It was great to see the result come through so quickly. One of the campaigns that we've had amazing success with in the last few months has been the birthday campaign.
Yeah, I love that.
Sending out it's in the system. It just goes automatically. It gets sent out to everyone in the lead up to their birthdays. And we've not only reactivated patients, but we've actually activated patients who are in our list, in our database, who hadn't yet been to see us. So they had either booked an appointment in the past, and it might have been years ago, and then cancelled and never made it.
Never actually attended. There you go.
For whatever reason. And then we've got them in as a new patient with that about $50.
And the best part is, that's once again, for people listening, that's all automated through our patients on demand system, which puts everything in one place, like your Facebook ads, text campaigns, emails, and so on. So it frees up a lot of time, doesn't it? Having all those campaigns already ready for you.
Another one that's been really powerful for us has been, it's called the new patient experience, but essentially leveraging a new patient's fantastic experience with us to then turn that into referrals from that patient who's had that great experience. So if we've spent X amount getting a new patient in, why wouldn't we try to turn that investment into that new patient into multiple leads or multiple bookings, which you just mentioned the patients on demand system, it has automated that. We're not even doing anything on the back end, and we're getting 2, 3, 4 patients out of one original or sort of one booking.
How good is that? It's the flywheel effect. I love that part of our pod system too, the new patient experience. It really is about how do we value people, obviously clinically, but also how do we optimize that to grow our business by providing an amazing experience? How do we do that in a way which is automated, so we don't need to give up your time? And I know that you guys have missed the session this morning, but the way we're using AI to do that, it's going to make this whole system even easier. So I've got a question for you. If we think about all these shifts that we've made together over such a brief period of time, how do you think you would have gone trying to figure this out by yourself, honestly?
We'd be nowhere near where we're at now.
We would have got there eventually, but it would have been much slower without all of the educated, without all the testing of all the systems that work well and which ones to focus on first. I think joining PA initially is what it didn't initiate my transition out of a corporate job, but it pushed me. We were waiting for the right time, and there's never a right time, let's be honest. But we felt like being part of this program gave me a job within the business, and what it did is it gave us the opportunity to kind of hit the road running basically from the get-go.
It's changed. What it's done for us, I mean, we would have kept going along that linear trend, and it would have been a slow grow, and I mean, eventually I think it would have topped out at some stage because we didn't have the tools that we needed. But so I think just the mindset that PA has given us confidence to grow, confidence to back ourselves, confidence to make the calls that we've made, to really sort of propel that growth and make it a manageable amount of growth, but have it sort of it's an old school sort of saying, but turbocharge that growth, which I think like we said, I don't think we'd be where we're at now.
We certainly would not have made the recruitment decisions that we have, Tristan.
Yeah, so recruitment decisions and speed.
Yeah, we had 3 contractors working with us, and now we have only employees. And so we're taking a much more not a risky decision-making process, but we're happy to take the risk knowing it'll work out.
Well, the thing is, I think the results you get now is a direct consequence of past thinking and acting. And if you want to get different results, we need to think and act at a higher version of ourselves. And you mentioned that before, Kate, like we would have got there, but it would have taken longer. And I agree. Like I like to work with smart people who want to get there faster. And, we get people like your 1-year goal we hit in 3 years, your 3-year goal, your 10-year goal we hit in 3 years. It's like, how do we go a lot faster? But at the same time, how do you do that in a way we're not stressed? And that's the thing is like, I think a lot of people will ultimately eventually hit their goal, but at what cost? And if it's a time thing, what happens over that time? It's the stress expands. So it's like, how do we get there in a quicker way where it's more enjoyable and more certain? And I think that's one of the benefits of having the right support people around us. So I'd love to know, like we'll wrap up shortly, but I'd love to know, what is it? What are some of the things you most love about being involved in our community, inside our program? What are some of the things that really bring energy and enjoyment to you guys?
For me, it's probably connection. Connection to, like I mentioned it right at the start of the podcast, connection to other practitioners who are going through the same thing, and who are on the same path and who may have, made some mistakes, and instead of me having to make the mistakes and learn from them, or instead of us having to do that, we are learning from people who have trodden a similar path, and I hope that we're doing the same for others. And then the other big thing for me is mindset.
Talk to me about mindset. What do you mean by that?
So we're thinking, we're in a mindset or a thought process of it's a growth mindset. It's a CEO mindset.
Yeah, more owner than practitioner.
Absolutely. The decision-making matrix that we have within our minds and the discussions we have is much more sort of CEO, executive data driven rather than gut feel, practitioner driven. It's hard to sort of quantify that, but we're in a completely different mindset, completely different sort of brain space, which has allowed us to grow, give us confidence, and that's the two big takeaways I've had.
And there's been, just from an outside perspective, and like we talk about this with the coaching team a lot, and Sarah and Dave and I were talking about this after our 3-day getaway last week. You guys are in a much different energetic space just over the last 2 months. Just by being around other people, I think you can relate to more. At the boardroom level, you're like power of proximity and success is, speed driven. You guys have like expanded very quickly just in the way that you're thinking and acting. So I want to acknowledge you guys on that. I wanted to also comment, Jens, you said it's good to work and see people that have made other mistakes and learn from them. I think smart people learn from their own mistakes. The top 1% learn from other people's mistakes, so they don't need to experience them in the first place. And that's one of the benefits when you're around people that you can connect with. They're either at the same level of you as you, they're trying things you haven't tried yet, or they're further along that journey. They can inspire you and say, hey guys, don't do this, I made this mistake. It's like paving that way so you don't have to go through that painful curve. How about you, Kate? What do you most love about being involved in our community and being involved with like-minded people and our coaching team and the resources? What do you most love?
It's a little bit like, sometimes you have decision-making fatigue and you're kind of like, what do I do in this situation? Something comes up, you're like, oh, what should I do here? Just the ability to jump on the group chat and pop a question in or float an idea and have, 15 people write back with their perspective is invaluable. It just makes you feel confident in your decision making. So it's a little bit similar to what Jens said.
Confidence.
It's the confidence and also, the constant reminder that 80% is enough. In my whole life has been about chasing perfection.
There is no perfection though, is it? Like you never actually get to the horizon.
Exactly. And it's just so time consuming. I found myself not making decisions or not following through on a piece of work or a project or something because I was waiting for the either the right time or the right information or the right conditions or whatever it is.
I'll do that when.
Exactly. Or, and wanting to float ideas with Jens and having a consensus. I've got that consensus addiction situation going on for me.
What Dave was talking about on Friday. Yeah, like the delay of decision due to needing consensus.
Yeah, just always wanting someone else to back me instead of me backing me. And so it's that mindset bit.
And Katie, that's the learning goal for you is like, as a visionary, you need to go with, you think, you act, bang, go. Just go. You don't need consensus because the visionary wants to move at speed. Everyone else wants to move at a level of safety and consensus, which is very normal. They're not going to think and act like you, but I'm just excited for you to really step into that and go, guys, we're going this way. Let's go. Follow me. We're getting after it. Like, that'll be wild.
I think and one more really powerful thing, and I'd like to acknowledge you, Tristan, because there's been situations where we've had questions where we're sort of trying to spitball things, and you've just cut through all the BS and said, this is what you do. And I know you've been there. I know you've gone through the journey that a lot of us are going through, and you've built a successful business. And we followed your advice and it works. So that's been really beneficial, really empowering. So thank you. Just knowing that you've got that, we've got your backing or, we've got you in our corner. So that's been without blowing steam up your backside.
No, I really appreciate that. And it's honestly, it's a pleasure and it's a privilege to be able to do what I do every day and with wonderful people like yourselves. So it's I don't view what I do as a job. I'm like, this is it's my purpose. And but I'm a words of affirmation person. So when I hear things like that, I'm like, I feel amazing. So I really appreciate you sharing that with me. And as you know, inside our program, we're always like, hey guys, what can we do better? What can we do better? Like, how do we make this even better for you guys? So that we can keep leveling up. So yeah, you do have us in your corner. And we're always going to be leveling up. Oh, amazing. Guys, I I've really enjoyed speaking with you today, and I really appreciate that you've invested your time to be here with me to share your experiences. So, question for you in parting, now that you've achieved so much, what's your next big goal? We're sitting here 12 months from now, how are things different again? You've grown so much, you need to have another big goal. What's your big goal now?
3 mil in revenue.
I love that. Look at that.
And for me, it's a hire of a practice manager.
Nice. I'm writing this down, putting it onto your goal sheet, and we're going to reverse engineer that together. So 20th of August, that goal has been set to go from 1 mil to 3 mil inside the next 12 months. Bring on a practice manager, get Katie into her genius space. And how about holidays? You've done 7 weeks in the first half of the year. How many weeks of holiday? 12 months time, what are your holidays going to look like?
I'm off to Germany in October for 2 weeks, so that's going to add another 2 weeks. And then I don't know if we've got too much planned. I think we're getting a bit greedy, but I'm sure there'll be something on the horizon.
I think that's the biggest flex is like, how many holidays can you actually have? Like, there's no right or wrong. For me personally, like 11 days is kind of my limit to go away, and I'm like, I just need to get back and do something. So I think choose what feels amazing for you guys. It's not greedy. It's you've worked for it and you're creating a life by design. And it's the funny thing is, the more holidays you have, the better your business is going to go.
Exactly.
Because you're going to create it so much differently to support you in being away. And I want it to be like, the more holidays you take, the more you grow. So encourage yourself to take more holidays, right? And then the more your team will expand, because the more responsibility they have to take on as part of your movement. So I'm super excited for you guys. Super excited. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap up the podcast right now. Guys, for everyone listening, I think you can all acknowledge Jens and Katie are doing some amazing things, and they're super inspiring. So if you can relate to any of the difficulties they've experienced, I want you to know that you're not alone and it can all be solved. If you want to learn some really great strategies on how to solve this, please keep following our podcast. If you can do me one small favor, make sure that you share our podcast to a friend today that may benefit from listening to this as well. And to see some and get some consumable content that you can action very, very quickly. If you follow me over on Instagram, Tristan Bond Official, you will see I share lots of different templates and frameworks you can roll out really, really quickly to get some epic results and test it out for yourself. So guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me inside today's episode. It's been an absolute blast. And I'll see you guys inside our next coaching session.
Tristan, thanks for having us.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you guys. All right, bye for now.